It's not supposed to happen in Beverly Hills. A movie executive and his wife were brutally slain in their $1 million mansion.
They had been the picture-perfect family.
They had achieved the American dream. They were living in the mansion in Beverly Hills. So on the outside, to most people, this was the perfect all-American family.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Heads up, I also might have the hiccups, so if I'm hiccuping through this story, I am so sorry. Ooh, let's try to get through this without Kristina hiccuping every 5 seconds. But yes, we're going to be talking about the Menendez brothers case. If you don't know who the Menendez brothers are, it was a really famous case back in the 1980s. It came right after the O.J. Simpson case. But we're going to talk about a little bit about their parents, a lot about their father, because their father plays a big role in this case. And we're going to talk about a little bit about their childhood. We're going to talk about, the murders that took place. And then we're going to talk about the court case, their sentence, and anything else after that. So let's get right into it. So their parents go by Jose and Kitty. Kitty is their mom's nickname. She just goes by that, so we're just gonna call her Kitty to respect her wishes. So Jose, their father, was born in Cuba, and he had to immigrate to America because there was a lot of political disaster going on in Cuba at the time, so his parents thought it was the best for him to immigrate to America. And yeah, and then later on he earned a college scholarship for swimming, and that is actually how he met his soon-to-be wife Kitty, who is obviously, the mother of the twins. At the time, she still is very known for being a beauty queen. So you have the beauty queen, and then you have, at the time, Jose being, a swimmer. And then we're going to talk about, now we're going to go into the twins. Eric was born November 27th, 1970, and Lyle was born January 10th, 1968. So they were born like 2 years apart from each other. The Menendez brothers were 21 and 18 at the time of the murders that they did. And around this time, they both played tennis. Eric was a little bit better than Lyle and wound up as a nationally ranked player in his age bracket, which was, of course, a big deal because they were taught that you can only have success and you can't not have success. It was a big thing back then for them because of their parents. Lyle ended up attending Princeton, and instead of, being destined in a career with tennis, he was destined for a career in business just like his father had. Both of the brothers had no choice but to be successful their entire lives. Their father would not accept any kind of failure. Kristina can't talk again, I guess. Example of that in their childhood is actually when they were in their teenage stage, Lyle and Eric and a couple of their friends used to actually rob houses. They started off just doing it at a friend's house to it seemed like they were getting practice in order to actually, be able to do it. And then they actually wanted to go to people's houses that they didn't know and actually steal items and money, which they actually ended up doing it, but they ended up getting caught. The thing is, you would think that, if your kid got caught, doing that, they would be punished and all that stuff. Their dad only cared about the fact that they got caught, not the fact that they were stealing. So basically it was just like, oh yeah, I don't care that you did it, but it's y'all are idiots for getting caught. That's literally how his father was, which is yeah, I'm just mad that you got caught doing it. Okay, but you're not mad that they were doing it? And apparently he actually used to pay off the houses they robbed so nobody would tell on the Menendez brothers. And it's you paid off people to not report your children for stealing because you just didn't want them to get caught, and all you cared about was the image of your family. So they looked like they were living the American dream. That is what everybody calls this case, is that why would the Menendez brothers do such crimes if they were living the American dream? But it also shows proof that just because, you're rich and you have money does not mean you have happiness. You could be literally the richest person on the planet and still suffer from depression and mental health issues, etc. So let's not, just because you have a price, a amount of money on your head, on your shoulders, does not mean that your life is easy peasy and that you don't deal with some struggles, which is exactly what this family represents. So after all of that, they moved to California, which is where they started doing those burglaries. The brothers started getting into some trouble, It started with, you know, Eric started running around with teenage delinquents, and so did Lyle. Lyle actually started it, and then Eric followed because he looked up to his older brother. And then Lyle, who was enrolled in Princeton University, got suspended for a year of plagiarism. So they were getting in some serious trouble at the time. So we are going to get into the murders. So going on further to this point, it's going to get a little trigger warning for anything regarding, you know, sexual harassment, assault, etc., murdering, killing, any of that might trigger you. This would be your time to click off the video. But alright, so we're going to talk about the murders. The Menendez brothers killed both of their parents, leaving them to look completely unidentifiable. So like they left them like you couldn't even identify who they were. Like they looked just like completely like messed up. Shot 15 rounds from 2 shotguns. It was so brutal that the police thought the killings were a mob hit. So it was so bad that they thought like a group of mob people literally went in there and did it. So I'm like, dang, y'all must have really went ham with, you know, the shotguns. And general killing is just not okay. The night of the murders, the Menendez brothers told the police that they went out to see a movie, just the two of them, and also stopped at the house to pick up Eric's ID, and that's when they discovered their parents' bodies and called 911. So of course, you know, they called 911, and then Lyle was the one who actually called. There's like their leaked phone calls with the operator are all over the internet, so if you guys want to see that, like, you guys, I'll either, if I could find it, insert it here.
What's the problem? What's the problem? I'm trying to kill my parents. Pardon me? What?
But yeah, their phone calls were of course recorded. They are always recorded when you call 911, and they were leaked to the public because Lyle is like hysterically crying and being like, my parents were murdered, da 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 da, literally after he murdered his parents with Eric. And they got away with it because the murders were so brutal. At first they got away with it. The murders were so brutal that it didn't even look like, you know, these 2 teenage boys who loved their parents murdered their parents. But yeah, so then months after their parents' death, they were still afraid. Nobody suspected it was them. But here's the thing that got them into trouble. Neither of the brothers acted like 2 teenagers or young adults that just lost their parents. They acted like 2 young adults that just won the lottery because their father, who later on became a CEO of a record company, RCA Records, made so much money, it would just blow your mind how much money that dude was making. That's why they moved over to Beverly Hills in a really nice mansion, made bank, literally bank. And their father was worth $14 million. And the brothers, only in 6 months, ended up spending $700,000 of their father's earnings in just 6 months. I don't know how you do that. They just went crazy. It's like they went to Las Vegas and just like spent the money. But this is how the Menendez brothers later on got caught. And they actually got caught because of Eric, but we'll get into it right now and you'll understand a little bit more. Eric started getting caught up in a string of burglaries. Like I said, he started getting caught up with it again, and the court made him see a therapist. So this is exactly how it all went down. Later on, both the brothers started seeing this therapist, and the therapist ended up getting their confession of their parents' murder on tape. Eric said they done put their mother out of her misery, while Lyle made it clear that they were both in on the crimes. After the therapist turned them in, Lyle was arrested soon after, but Eric at the time was in Israel and flew back to LA, and he was later on arrested also. So I'm gonna kind of sum up the court case, because the court case, there was like 2 different court cases, and if I just keep all the information I'm telling you is kind of summarized up, because I know a lot of YouTubers have done this case and they have made like, you know, an hour-long video, and I don't want to like make an hour-long video. I just want to get straight to the point for you guys and cover the important points of this case so you guys understand why it's so important that we show this case needs to be reopened, and we need to have a new court system, everything, because they were really messed up by the legal system. Even though yes, they did murder their parents, you'll see exactly why I'm saying that they were really messed up by the legal system. But I'm not saying that it's okay to kill their parents. It's never okay to murder anybody. But when I get into what the court did to them and how they were prosecuted wrong, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. So in court, the Menendez brothers claim, so this is a trigger warning for anybody who has ever been assaulted, sexual harassment, anything. I have to be really careful with my words on YouTube or I'll be flagged. But anything regarding that, I would click off also now, because that is when I'm going to get into it a little bit. So in the court, the Menendez brothers claim that their father's range of terror went far beyond emotional abuse and the pressure of high school success, and that their father had done things, I can't say the word because of YouTube, has done things to them since their childhood. Both of the brothers and the lawyer tried to fight the murder case with calling it self-defense after growing up in such a violent, traumatizing home. So they were trying to use that, like this was self-defense, like we did it because we could not live on any longer in this life with their father. And when they said they put their mother out of her misery, their father was having a lot of affairs behind the marriage, and the mother knew, a lot of people knew, and they just took their mother out, like, because they were like, you're gonna be destroyed either way, we're gonna just take you out of your misery. So the way they killed their mother, they don't really have an actual like reasoning or an excuse to like why they killed their mother, but more of so why they killed their father, which I think they should have just killed their father and left their mother alone then. But that's just me. I didn't do the murder, so beats me. But yeah, so when they tried to get the court to look at the fact that this could be a legit reason and that they are traumatized kids and they are also victims, the court did not care, and the court didn't even let them have evidence to prove it. They didn't let them have any witnesses, which is, you know, why would you not? That's literally the court law. You're allowed to have witnesses and you're supposed to show evidence, and the court just did not let them. Which it's like, okay, but then like you show all this evidence of them doing the murders and they're confessing to it on the stand, but you're not gonna let them have evidence to them being emotionally like hurt. So I'm gonna say hurt because I can't say the word, emotionally hurt by their father their entire childhoods, which led to them murdering their parents. Like, I don't understand the court system. There's a lot of cases that the court and the police officers, etc., have honestly not cared about and threw away in the trash. This is just one of the many. So that's why many people to this day, it's very famous on TikTok that the Menendez brothers deserve a new court case. I honestly think so too. Like, I think they should have been given a lesser charge. They still should have been charged and put in jail, of course, but their sentence at the moment is life in prison without the potential of parole. So they're just stuck in prison their entire lives. And people think that that's just not okay, and they think that the reason why they also weren't able to have evidence or witnesses is because their court case happened right after the O.J. Simpson case. So you just had a famous O.J. Simpson case take over the nation. They were like, we don't want the same for the Menendez brothers. We just want this to be over with. We're so over this crap. And, you know, the Menendez brothers didn't get to have evidence. They didn't get to have, like, anything, which was really ridiculous because it's kind of like, you gave O.J. Simpson all the evidence and the witnesses in the world and all the cameras in the world, but you didn't give the Menendez brothers anything on the stand. I'm just saying that is completely wrong. Court sadly didn't believe them, and to this day they still stand by these claims. The brothers ended up getting life in prison without the possibility of parole, like I just said to you guys. Yep, to this day, this case is still a widely popular case, as of recently this case has blown up on TikTok, and many believe that the brothers are innocent and that their father did indeed do things to them their entire childhoods, and there are several petitions out there to give Menendez brothers the justice that many people think that they deserve. So that is the Menendez brothers case summed up. They were forced to live this American dream life when they were really suffering behind closed doors, and they couldn't say or do anything about it because of how powerful their father is and how their father literally controlled them, which is so sad. So I do believe they, of course, should have been charged, but not with life in prison, with just manslaughter, which they would have gotten a few years and the potential of parole. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm gonna, of course, keep doing true crime cases because I think they're very interesting. Wanted to do the Menendez brothers case because I do believe if you keep making the right phone calls and signing the correct petitions, not the spam petitions, that we can give these brothers the justice that they truly deserve. So if you guys like these true crime videos, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for many more true crime and conspiracy theories, etc., more storytellings. And I will definitely do more for you guys. If I'm looking down, you guys always know I have all the information written on my laptop, because I always want to give you guys all the information and not just some BS that I made up in my head. I want to give you guys the facts and everything else. You could always look up the Menendez brothers on YouTube. There are so many videos and interviews, documentaries about these brothers. They truly were screwed by the justice system, like many poor people. Like, not poor people, but people who have been screwed over, etc. But yeah, if you guys like this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys in my next video, like always.